This video is going to contain a lot of spoilers for all of these books. Like, I'm just going to rapid fire say random spoilers about these books, and I'm not going to always put a spoiler warning for these books. So I am going to be putting a list. So there's going to be a list of books that I'm going to read. I'm going to add them here. And, well, I'm going to put a list of books that I have read here or after this clip, and you're just going to have to know that there are going to be spoilers for them in here as long as I'm holding the book up. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you may want to skip this video. So yeah, this has been your blanket spoiler warning. Take that in mind as you come along with me as I try to be comprehensible, because, whoo boy, it's tough on this one, guys. It's still within 5 days, so it's still technically not late. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is October and this is Nerd Boy Reads. If you're new around here, welcome. If not, welcome back. Today we are going to be doing my July 2022 wrap up. I managed to read 10 books this month, although not all of them were on my TBR. I read a majority of the books on my TBR, but I missed one because I had to pick up another one for reasons I will get into shortly. But starting off, we're going to be talking about the book that I did not manage to read this month, and that is Lost Gods by Brom. This is about someone getting out of jail and trying to start a new life with their wife, and it doesn't work out very well, I'm assuming, because there's a whole book about it. I didn't manage to get to this book in Nebraska like I had originally wanted, and I still haven't read it yet because I was trying to read other things, so this just got missed, so I'm just going to stick it in my August TBR, so if I have if I have time after that, I will be reading it then. Well, now, because it's technically August now. And then the book that I replaced it with is The Mothman Prophecies by John A. Keel. This is not a great book. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is a non-fiction book that's supposedly centered around Mothman and those things that came up with him, but it's mostly just a paranormal / alien experience compilation, and there's no real point to it. I didn't really enjoy it. I picked it up because my family and I went to the Mothman Museum on our way to Nebraska, and I finished that one in the car, and I didn't really have another one to grab, so I had this one on hand, so I decided to read it, and I trudged, and that really ate up a lot of my time trying to get through this book because I didn't find it interesting. I didn't find the voice of the author great, and despite Mothman being my favorite cryptid, it didn't have a lot of Mothman, and that actually really disappointed me. Nothing Mothman-y happened until a good three-quarters of the way through the book, I believe, and it just wasn't a good book in my opinion. I'm still gonna keep it for at least a little while because I like Mothman that much and I am an eccentric, but I didn't enjoy it, so started off the month weak. I actually put this book off so long I had to stop reading it, and I picked up other books in between trying to finish this book just so I can read other things. Otherwise I don't think I would have finished half of the books I did this month trying to get through this one. So yeah. And then starting off the books that I actually really did enjoy reading, we have The Malice by Peter Newman. This is the second book in the Vagrant trilogy, and I finally picked it up this month. I've held on to it for a while. I was trying to find the 7, and I still can't find it. I didn't even actually look for it. If we're being quite honest, I forgot to look for it. So I read this. This is the book I finished in the car, and I'm really glad I did. This is now spoiler territory, so I'm going to be talking about this book in full, so if you don't want spoilers about this book, please, especially since it's the second book, skip ahead to when I'm not holding up this book, so you have been warned. The Malice picks up an unspecified amount of years after the events of the Vagrant, in which we are following the baby from the first book, Vesper, as she tries to take her father's place as savior of the world so he doesn't have to fight anymore. Surprisingly, I really kind of have mixed feelings about Vesper as a main character. Because she is so young, she is really naive and she tries not to fight, which, you know, is admirable quality, but sometimes violence is just the answer and it is required in order to save many people's lives, but she just doesn't see it that way. She also ends up developing something of a savior complex, and I'm not just saying that. Like, they encounter a city of sick people and she feels compelled and obliged to help them, even though she just met these people and she just got lucky with whatever's going on. And it's kind of like the chosen one trope, because the special sword only allowed her to pick it up, and it kind of bothered me. But other than that, I really enjoyed this book. Vesper is just a kid, so I understood where she was coming from, trying to take her father's place. It's almost like a Mulan situation if you think about it, but she didn't have to disguise herself as a man. But she did take over trying to fight so her father wouldn't have to. I liked Duet as a side character, and I found her narrative really compelling when she was forcibly paired up with someone mentally and physically, and when she had to kill her companion, it took a really hard toll on her mentally and physically, and I found that really interesting. Don't ask me why. I'm not really about that life, but I kind of am. So that was really fun to read about. The world was just as grimy and gross as I remember it being, and I loved seeing the Vagrant as a father. That was really cute. Him and Harm are dating and are married, and you can't convince me otherwise. They're so cute together. We didn't get to see enough of them because, like I said, this is Vesper's story now, but every moment with them was adorable. They clearly care so much about her. They clearly care so much about each other, and even though the Vagrant doesn't speak, it is just they're able to communicate so well without him speaking, and it's just adorable, and I love it so much. I cannot wait to see how it ends, although I have been told by the one person I've heard who read this that the ending isn't great, and I'm kind of worried about it. But until I actually read it for myself, I am really excited. This is one of the best books I read this month, and I am glad that I did. I'm finally continuing on with the series, and hopefully I can find the last book soon, because I do want to be able to finish it before the end of this year. I'm not really grabbing these in the order that I read them in. I'm just kind of grabbing them because I forgot to check which order I read them in. But continuing on with the books that I really enjoyed, we have The Liar's Dictionary by Ellie Williams. This is a dual timeline story set in the same dictionary company, a failing dictionary company, I should say, in which the dictionary that this guy seems to be printing never gets finished. And he has a habit of blaming the Oxford English Dictionary for why he's not popular, and he said that if he were to manage to get this dictionary out, it would be more popular. So in this dual timeline story, we follow Peter Winsworth as he tries to manage his love life, he tries to manage his job, and he is faking a lisp. He's just like a compulsive liar, so he gave himself this lisp. And we're also following Mallory, who is present day working at this dictionary, and she has been assigned a task of finding all of the fake words, which Peter ends up printing. I really enjoy this story. I'm not really a literary fiction person, but this one really got me. It was interesting to learn new words, even the ones that like Peter makes up. Hearing those words like give meaning to certain little elements of life. Like I think he has words for like when you hate someone so much that even their like breathing bothers you, and just all these nice little words that he tries to get published, but unfortunately it doesn't end up working because the current owner of the dictionary has Mallory go pick them up. And Peter is trying to navigate his love life when he falls in love with his co-worker's fiance, and it's kind of revealed later down the line that they have an open marriage, and they're openly not polyamorous, but they're very open with their sex lives, and it makes Peter uncomfortable, but he still wants to be with this woman. And his whole journey is kind of about acceptance and finding your worth and all that good stuff. And Mallory's timeline, she is dealing with someone sending bomb threats to this place that she is working, and later in the line, spoilers alert, major spoiler alert, it turns out that her boss is actually the one sending the bomb threats, and then he ends up burning down the building except for the fake words that Peter made up all those years ago. I'm really shit at explaining things. I'm so sorry. If you're someone who likes learning new words, this book is filled with them. Each chapter title is a different word that kind of envelops the sense of what's going to happen in the story, and it's really cute. I have a list of words that I pulled from this book because I liked them so much, and I hope to incorporate them in my own writing. But the way it was executed was flawlessly. You can really tell that the author loved words, loved the English language, and her entire like dictionary and her love of writing is just put, and love of writing and just love of words in general is just put full on display in this story, and it's a beautiful piece, and I really enjoyed it. So if you're interested in it, even despite the shitty way that I've explained it right now, I highly recommend picking this up. I don't hear everyone talking about it. I don't hear anyone talking about it, but this could be big. This is a really good book. So yeah, please pick it up. With a literary fiction, we have a translated fiction, and that is Tokyo Ueno Station by Yumiri. This is about a ghost living in a train station. And spoilers for this one, he's not really a ghost, he's a homeless man, and we watch his basically his entire life, from birth to death, as he struggles with poverty, his family dying, his family leaving, starting a family, trying to get himself and his family out of poverty, and it just not working until he ultimately ends up killing himself in the end. It's a beautiful piece. It's so good, and I almost cried. I didn't like totally cry, but it was so good. Watching his son be born on the same day as the royal son, and then have him die when the royal family's son is like thriving, was heartbreaking, because that's just how people live. This is kind of a story of like bad things just keep on happening, and there's no real respite from that, so be wary going into that, and it does end with a suicide, so be really wary about going about that if you are triggered by that stuff. But it's just good. I don't know how else to describe it. It's really sad because, like I said, the hits just keep coming for this guy, and he voluntarily makes himself homeless because he doesn't want to be a burden to his daughter, the only one who seems to have any success in his life, because him and his wife work until his wife just dies in her sleep, and he just doesn't see a point of going on anymore. He tells his daughter not to look for him. He disappears, he becomes homeless so he doesn't have to burden anyone, and it's just so sad. This guy just doesn't get an easy life, and sometimes it just happens like that. I understand that, like, sometimes things just don't work out, bad things just keep happening, but it's still really sad to read about, because I like a book with a happy ending, and this just isn't it. So why do I like this book so much? I don't know, but it's still really good. If you do end up picking this book up, please be warned that there are some trigger warnings such as suicide that I just warned you about. And yeah, it's a good book. I was really sad while reading it. People are talking about it, and they really should be. I feel like this would be really popular if more people picked it up, because everyone likes sad books. Yeah, just pick up a sad book. Do it. Make yourself feel sad. Do it. Live your life. Don't be a bitch, I guess. Speaking of other sad books, we have The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery by Gabrielle Zevin. This one is also apparently getting a adaptation soon, so that's fun. That's really the reason why I picked it up. I wanted to see. I heard it was getting a adaptation, I should say, and I picked it up. This is about A.J. Fickery, a widower who gets a mysterious package delivered to his bookstore, and he has to just try to live life. Spoilers, that package is a child. He gets a whole child just left to him, and then the mother of this child goes and commits suicide, so trigger warning for that. Watching A.J. Fickery grow into a father figure is one of the most beautiful things I've ever read in my entire life. I am all about the trope of angry man adopts child and becomes soft, and this just hit that spot for me. It's so good. You can really tell that the author, Gabrielle Zevin, is a book lover because she projects so much love for books through AJ himself as a character. And he broadcasts his love through books through snobbery, which we love, because I am also a book snob in some cases, and he has all these strict rules about like books and stuff like that, but he like books like literary fiction only, no vampires, no YA, no all this stuff. But as he opens his heart to this little girl, he just gives everything some slack, and he starts stalking YA and stalking vampire books and crime books, and he starts book clubs, and everyone just is happier because they all want to see him survive and thrive as a father, and they want to support him, and he supports them in turn, and it's just so pretty. the end of this book is really sad. He ends up with a brain tumor, and throughout this story, we get like little notes and reviews about books, and they just slowly turn into this love letter to his daughter about why he likes certain books and why he thinks that she would like certain books. And it's just very sad to watch him slowly lose his ability to write and think and read and try to project his love for his daughter when he can't say anything because he is battling brain cancer and ultimately dies from it. And it's just so sad. It's so sad, but it's really good. Like, I don't know how else to describe it besides it's just really good. It made me sad. Like, I actually teared up while reading this book. I can't wait till the adaptation comes out. I hope they don't ruin it. I'm always scared when adaptations come out, because if it ruins it, it just ruins it, and that's never fun. Watching your favorite things. I'm not saying this is my favorite book. Not at all. Not by far. But it's still a good story, and I hope it doesn't get, like, ruined by the adaptation. So I'm definitely going to be a harsh judge about the adaptation whenever it comes out for this book. So, yeah.